Real deal McNeil. What's going on, man? Welcome to the Unphased Podcast. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a special one today, man. Welcome to the Unphased Podcast, the number one motortainment show in the world, where we do our best to show you how to stay unfazed in this world that will definitely try to phase you. You know, I'm here, your unfazed sensei and chief motivator, Phaz McClurge, with the man who he says he never been fake, not one day in his life, Mr. Real Deal McNeil. Um, and today is a great episode, man. If you guys were on the episode yesterday, we're going 30 days straight right now, and this episode is about imposter syndrome. So if you ever feel like you're juggling a thousand different things, a thousand different dreams that you have, your ambitions are endless, but somehow deep down you still not sure you belong at that table. You feel like you're wearing a mask, like I am today. That the smile, you have confidence while you're around everybody, but sometimes you feel like you're just faking the part, or you act like everything is fine in front of others, but in private, you're actually struggling a battle of life. These are all forms of imposter syndrome. And this is actually kind of hard to talk in. I'm not gonna lie, so I might end up taking us off.
But
But
dying in the man.
look. But it's gonna be a great conversation today. So I hope y'all stay tuned. The whole episode, we got a lot of things coming. Let's do it.
I'm unfazed, I'm unfazed, yeah, I'm unfazed. I'm unfazed, yeah, I'm unfazed. I'm unfazed, yeah, finna stack this paper. I'm unfazed, yeah, finna stack this paper. I'm unfazed.
What's
Another
good,
one.
baby? What's good? What's good?
Day two of the 30-day Unfazed podcast. Real deal McNeil, how you feeling?
Man, just blessed to be here. You know what I'm saying? Blessed and happy and fortunate enough for us to make it to day two episode. It's not episode two, but it feel like episode two because we in the beginning of a time and an era in which we haven't embarked on before, a journey in which we just excited to, embark on. So, I'm geek, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We consistent. We said we bring it to you every day, 30 days straight, and that's what we're here to do.
That's what we're here to do. And I told you we're gonna bring the energy every single day. I think Real Deal McNeil told y'all that. But unlike these balloons right here, they dying on us. These balloons ain't lasting that long. But we gonna
Come on
come to
now.
you every day. If these balloons are here or not, we're gonna give you some great conversation. I could bet you that. But listen,
Guarantee.
I got this mask on today. You're like, Faze, what's going on with the mask? I don't know why you got the ski mask on. What they call it? What you call
The
it? E?
ski,
The
the
ski. It got
YN era, they support it. They support it.
Yeah, yeah. So we just need to lock in today on the episode because today we're talking about something that hits really close to home for me. It's called imposter syndrome. And if you guys don't know what imposter syndrome
And he's a
is,
fake robber right now.
I'm a
He ain't
fake
never
robber
tell
right
nobody his
now. I'm
whole
an
life.
imposter. You know what I mean? I got to stay on brand. But imposter syndrome, what that is, the other title of this episode is called Fake It Till You Make It, right? Imposter syndrome, fake it till you make it. What imposter syndrome is after everything as people that we feel like we have done, specifically myself right now. I've done a lot of things, I've accomplished a lot of things. I'm always getting praise from people. I'm getting praise specifically my mother. She's always praising me, bragging on me. But sometimes I still don't feel like I'm good enough. I still don't feel like I belong. I still am doubting myself. And that's all forms of imposter syndrome because there's a lot of things that lead to that, and there's a lot of things that lead from that. So I think it's going to be an amazing conversation today. And I know this is going to hit home for some people because I know a lot of people feel that same way. And the problem is, Real Deal McNeil, the problem is you don't realize all the things that you have done. The problem is you do not realize all the great things you have done in the world. You do not give yourself props for all the things and all the things you have been through because I don't know what the quote is. The quote is you're undefeated against bad days. You know what I mean? You're undefeated against bad days. So we need to start giving ourselves props. We need to start loving ourselves a little more. Need to start letting people praise us and praising ourselves anymore, giving ourselves flowers, giving other people flowers. So I think it's going to be an amazing episode because I know Real Deal McNeil, I know you got a lot of stories and things like that that kind of go along with imposter syndrome too.
Now I'm gonna be real with you. When you first presented this topic to us, you know what I'm saying, and I'm like, okay, because we like to kind of map some of this out. We're not just going off the fly with this. But when I first heard it and you first broke down to me, I'm like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? What is this? How does this really speak to me? How can I relate to the people and share my story, you know, saying of what this imposter syndrome or what basically or whatever it is. But when we finally had that conversation, I got a better understanding. It helped me understand as to what I wanted to talk about here today. And basically, just to kind of just get right into it, the first time I, you know, felt like an imposter or at least had the feeling of feeling fraudulent would have been the first time I stepped on this podcast. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? And being on the podcast for the first time, I questioned myself a lot. Like if y'all go back, y'all can actually go. This is like testament. Y'all can go back to the first few episodes. You can kind of see I may not have felt as comfortable as I feel now, talking to y'all, bringing y'all content, being myself, because I'm entirely like, dang, do I belong here? Do I fit in with what they've already accomplished, what their brands are? Not realizing now in this moment, after looking back after everything we've accomplished, I did belong. I did fit in. I was in the right spot, but I couldn't help but feel like, dang, how can I relate to these boys? How am I in the right realm, or am I an imposter? Am I somebody fake or whatever? Be put on this fake mask in order to be something I'm not, but I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. So, you know, just that's just the first time I can say I shared that testament with even that feeling within myself.
yeah, 100%. And I think one thing I wanted to hit on too, right, is that, like I said before, the problem is a lot of us don't acknowledge a lot of the things and accomplishments that we've already done and accomplished. And then the other problem is the map or that baseline that a lot of us use. I know I use it, I'm guilty of using it. The map or baseline for what we feel like we can celebrate is based off of social media. And a lot of us still don't understand that a lot social media is fake. A lot of it is not real. A lot of it is fallacy. A lot of it is exaggerated in order to get the clicks, in order to get the likes, in order to get the
And
views.
and respectfully, it's not just y'all though too. Again, I like to relate everything back home. Even with this podcast, the same way you're saying it, I had to basically pull myself off of that way of thinking of that mindset
Mm,
of does the podcast belong or whatever. I'm comparing ourselves like, dang, this podcast like this, dang, this podcast not realizing like, bro, we're not striving to be like anybody else. You know what I'm saying? We're in a playing field of a lot of competitors and a lot of people who, you know what I'm saying, we can't compare to, but that's not what we're here for. You know what I'm saying? We're not here on this platform trying to evolve and grow for applause. We're not here for that's not what we're here for. What
mm.
we're here is to we're trying to evolve and grow with y'all because it matters. We have purpose. We serve purpose here. This is what we're supposed to be. This is what we're supposed to be doing. So if we weigh the value of, you know what I'm saying? Here he goes.
Sorry, sorry,
Here you
sorry.
go. You have me
You got
itching
the
for the
preaching.
button.
I'm sorry.
Itching for the button. But respectfully, if we did everything that we're doing here for the likes, for the shares, don't get me wrong, it's a part of it. But if that's the sole purpose why we were here, we would be dooming ourselves from the start. We wouldn't really understand that we are actually here for a greater purpose, a greater cause. So, you know, the social media is one way to look at it, you know what I'm saying, but we have to always revert it back to what our reality is. So
Exactly. And I think you just even spit a couple bars about our mission statement. The last line of our mission statement was, we don't do this for the algorithm.
come
We
on
do
now.
this for legacy. Legacy, legacy, legacy. And I think one of the main things, is that once you stop comparing yourself, it's all getting all in my eyes. God dang it. Look, once you start comparing yourself to everything you see on social media, you lose not only the reality, but you begin to lose yourself. And the biggest thing about imposter syndrome is you feel like you don't belong. But comparing yourself to everybody else and just assimilate into everything else that everyone's becoming, you become less and less of yourself. You do become an imposter. And you know what I mean? In terms, by looking at social media and having those feelings and things like that, you end up becoming
And
what you're not trying to become.
respectfully, not to jump in there, respectfully,
Yeah.
you lose sight of what the goal is by doing that.
Hmm.
Because now you're comparing, now you're setting your ceiling as somebody else's ceiling, or where they're
Yep.
at. You know what I'm saying? Now you don't even you got lost in what your goal was for the main objective because you're trying to chase what somebody else is trying to chase. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't want to jump in there and put that on there because I'm like, ultimately, you know, you getting caught up in what your reality is not can distract you from what your reality is and where you're supposed to be going. now you're veering off course. So
Yeah, and I think I have a couple stories about this. Like one thing I'd even say with football. Like if you guys don't know, like I played in the IFL the past couple years, graduated
you know,
Cornell, then went to play in the IFL, and then I got the opportunity to play in the UFL this year for the Michigan Panthers, right?
turn him
And
up.
and you said what?
I said, turn him up, turn him up.
Yeah, turn me up. Give me some. Give me
Lightning.
some. Give me some. Give me some.
Lightning.
No, but so I played in the UFL and I hadn't played outdoor football for like 2.5, almost 3 years. So getting back to that, I had a lot of imposter syndrome. Being there, being at the next level, which is right underneath the NFL, and working with guys that NFL coaches, NFL players, NFL quarterbacks that's won Super Bowls and everything like that. I'm consistently in my head like, dang, like I don't belong here. Like, okay, I made this catch. I'm doing this thing. Like, how did I get here? It's just lucky. Other guys could have got the opportunity too. Some guys, but it's like at the same time, I had to continue to revert back to who I am. Kind of like you were saying. Like I had to revert back to reality. The reality is, I worked my butt off to get that
Yeah,
opportunity.
too.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
too.
I worked my heart, my everything at Cornell, at Indiana State, in the IFL to continue dominating, and then this opportunity came. So it wasn't by accident. And a lot of people like to blame things. Some people say like the biggest thing when imposter syndrome, people are, oh yeah, this is just lucky. This just happened for me. No, but I feel like luck is when preparation meets opportunity. You know what I mean? If that opportunity would have came and I would have went there and I would have not been prepared, that opportunity would not have got itself. I got cut the first time I got there, and they brought me back. You know what I mean? So at that, I'm looking at
And he
myself as
got
like,
cut again, but they bringing
exactly.
him back.
Exactly. So it's like all these bad things could happen, but you still have to revert back to reality. You still have to revert back to the work and who you become. So I think for me, that was a great example of feeling like an imposter, feeling like I don't belong, especially after getting cut. Like you're saying, it's like I didn't feel right about myself. I felt like, dang, like this is just lucky, or I'm just here. And I was looking at everyone else. Oh, this guy's playing, this guy's playing. A lot of comparison. We know comparison is the thief of joy. So I think that's one of the main
I say
things.
that again. Comparison is a thief of joy.
Comparison is the thief of joy. And that's the reason we're having this conversation. Every conversation that we have on this podcast, I want to just put what do they call it? A PSA out there, an announcement, public service announcement. Every
Tune in.
conversation we are having on this podcast is to help you guys, right? It's to help you guys. Hopefully, we heal some people. Hopefully, we say something that connects with some people. But we're saying this to you as a reminder to ourselves. You know what I mean? Every conversation we're having, this podcast is to grow with us. You know what I mean? Not to learn from us. You're gonna learn some things from us, but we're really just having a conversation and wanting to have a conversation with you guys as well. So I think this is a really cool topic, especially because not even being an imposter, when we talk about being an imposter, I think one of the main things is also like self-worth, self-love, self-respect. And I think that's something for me personally that I struggle with a lot. You know what I mean? Even with all the accomplishments that I have had, there are a lot of times where I'm like, I'm not nice to myself. A lot of times where it's like I still doubt myself. I'm still like, and the work itself, all the work that I put in, it doesn't mean anything at that point. Because at the same thing, I'm just looking in the future, like, oh, I'm not in the NFL. The podcast isn't making millions of dollars right now. All these things that go through my head, but all those are things, that's the imposter syndrome, that's the comparison, that's
Right.
all these things that are taking away, basically slowing you down. All those things are obstacles that if you let them stop you for long enough, they're going to completely stop you. And there will be no more unfazed. There will be no more football. You know what I mean? But that's why we're here today, because these 30 days is to push us and propel us through every single obstacle.
And to
Every
that
single
point
obstacle.
too, to that
Yeah.
point though too, everything in which you said regarding to, feeling like an imposter or whatever it can be, imposter syndrome does have
Get it
its
out.
perks. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about it, sometimes being an imposter, maybe just like wearing that badge and honor, that badge of courage, you know what I'm saying? Stepping outside of your
Mm,
comfort zone to do something in which you never saw, thought possible to be able to do within yourself. So sometimes it's not actually bad to have the imposter syndrome
yes.
because it helps you actually get onto the right of passage or the right path for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You may be doubting yourself, but shoot, fake it till you make it at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? You may not be in the realm amongst the people you're around right now, but you're gonna walk. talk and step just like they are or whatever until you are either confidently walking in that or until you are that. It's
Mm,
basically like speaking life into yourself, or you know what I'm saying, basically, you know what I'm saying, going in the way in which you want to go. So, you know, at the end of the day, being an imposter is not always a bad thing. Yeah, you might be in a room full of VPs and billionaires, whatever the case may be, but just you may not be that. You may carry yourself like you're that, but one day you will be that just by carrying yourself like that. So, you know what I'm saying? It's
mm.
not always a negative to be an imposter in a
Amazing.
room full of goats. You know what I'm saying? So
Amazing, amazing. And I think even said it over here. He said the UFL is the top 1% football worldwide. Just to be there is a testimony of hard work. I appreciate that, And that's so huge because that reverts back to what we were saying earlier of like, man, being that imposter, even though I felt like an imposter in those times, I belong there. And I'd say this is the biggest thing that we're saying. You belong
you belong there.
everywhere,
Yes, sir.
everywhere. Wherever you are at, there's no wrong place to be. Like you just said, I could be in a room full of billion-dollar CEOs. I belong there
There's a
because
reason why you're
if
there.
I'm there, I can become that. If I'm there, if I'm around all these people, if they're around what they say, if you surround yourself with 5 millionaires, you're gonna end up being the six.
Right. You hang around who you are, you know what I'm saying? Or who you want to be. You know what I'm saying? Not like unknowingly, a lot of people go down the wrong path by the people that they hang around because they're like anchors and they're pulling down. But a lot of people go down the right path or build a room of networking and connection just by hanging out with the right people, being in the right space, being at the right place at the right time, instead of looking at it like, oh, I'm in the wrong place at the
Mm,
wrong time. So, you know what I'm saying? You can basically redefine or basically redirect what your trajectory is just by, you know what I'm saying? For example, I'm not saying that we are, but we could pretend to know about half the stuff we're talking about. We come on here, but we come into it with confidence and we do our research or whether we have this podcast for a reason. Everybody thinks, oh, a podcast just turning on the camera and going for it. That's a portion of it. But actually being on here amongst and watching greatness, doing your research, studying just like we watching film or something like that, is going to allow us to be in a basically a pond full of big fishes and we're small fish, but we're gonna keep eating until we equate in size or outgrow the situation we're currently in. So
and I think,
don't look at
yeah,
the situation you're in based upon where you feel like you're at because you actually may be a lot further than you realize. That a lot of people might be, you know what I'm saying, you may be your biggest critic in that
mm,
moment, maybe beating yourself down. But a lot of people like, bro, like you actually killing this right now. Like we too many times all we question the podcast, like, bro, are we really doing what we should be doing? Are we really giving them great content, whatever? But then you have people who's giving you that feedback, like, bro, y'all doing y'all thing, y'all popping, just keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
yeah, and I think it's cool to see as well that, like in a one thing you said a little bit earlier is imposter syndrome, right? We kind of talked about what that is, right? Can equate to meaning you are successful. So that feeling of feeling like an imposter, or feeling like a fraud, or whatever it is, in whatever situation you're is, the fact that you are there and you feel that way, and a lot of times what that turns into fuel to keep working harder because you're trying to be perfect, because you feel like you don't belong, whatever it is. But that in itself could mean you're on the path to success. Because some of the top people, Albert Einstein, a quote, he said, I feel compelled to think of myself as an involuntary swindler. Maya Angelou, I have written 11 books, and each time I think I'm going to get found out. You know what I mean? So, some of the greatest, most intelligent people, and at the end of their lives, when they look at their whole body of work, they still feel like,
that's
man,
crazy.
I may not be good enough.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
That's that mama
So,
mentality though. Like some, you know what I'm saying?
yes,
Who's to say that Kobe Bryant didn't feel like that? So
exactly.
he one of the great.
Exactly. He's one of the greatest, man. So, I think it's really cool to look at that. And a question I wanted to pose to you, E, is it like, is it worse to feel like a fraud, or to be a fraud and not know it?
Is it worse to feel like a fraud or be a fraud and not know it?
Feeling like a fraud would be the imposter syndrome, right? Like, what do y'all think? Is it
I don't
worse to
know.
feel like a fraud,
I
feel
feel
you have
like
that imposter syndrome, or to be a fraud and you don't know it?
it's the same way we have a conversation. There's pros and cons to it. Cause I feel like it depends on what your situation or scenario is. Because I can say, yeah, I'd rather be feel like a fraud because maybe I'm over humbling myself. Maybe I'm my biggest critic and I'm actually doing my thing. Or what I'm saying, in the other perspective of it, what if I'm a fraud and didn't know it? I might be hanging out with millionaires and really be it and think and carry myself like I'm a millionaire, but I'm not really a millionaire. So I don't know. It's two different positive ways to look at it, but you can also look at them both from the negative side. So that's a great question though. I can't really tell
100%.
you
And I
off the top of my head which one I want to be.
No, thanks. And I think that's just a question that, like, when I was doing research about this, I'm like, there's a question that came up, and I was really thinking deep
That was a
about
dope
that,
one.
just because there's something on the other end, right? We talk about imposter syndrome, how this can be hindering to people, but I'd say in most case scenarios, kind of like you were saying, it's a feeling that we need to recognize, and it's a feeling that we go past. It's something that comes up, and we just kind of push past it. Because if some of the most successful people in the world have felt like that, it's okay to feel like that and still continue on what you're doing. You know what I mean? The biggest thing is continuing to take action, not
And
letting
and the
that
and the opposite side of that,
what
if a lot of people, there's a lot of people out there who felt like that and didn't use it as fuel that you may never hear about. So
exactly. So that
it's always a
yes,
pros and cons. So, and that's the reason why we're speaking on this topic here today, because ultimately it's okay to feel the doubt. It's okay to feel like an imposter as long as you're looking at it from the right perspective. We're trying to show you the more beneficial way to yourself as to walk into this unknown or this realm in which you may not realize you are an imposter because you feel like that's where you belong, or where you feel like an imposter, but that's still where you belong. Ultimately, we're trying to allow this to be a beneficial object or objective and perspective for you to obtain, instead of feeling like you're somewhere where you don't belong and then unintentionally in a negative way pulling yourself out of somewhere where you belonged all the time. So
fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it, right? Because the only time that anything, we could be talking about imposter syndrome, anything, the only time that something becomes a problem is when you allow that thing to stop you from getting to the goal, right? When you allow that thing to slow you down from getting from point A to point B. That's the only time any feeling, because I think a problem that I had too, it was a conversation I had a while ago with a girl, right? And I was just like, hey, like, why? She was like, I was like, why are you always sad, man? It's like, just be positive, like, be happy. And one thing she said, it stuck with me to this day. She said, it's okay you don't have to be happy all the time. You know what I mean? And that really stuck with me because it was like, you have to allow yourself, as humans, we're all humans. I say this all the time. You have to allow yourself to be human, go through human emotions. If you just try to hold stuff in, be positive all the time, then when you get by yourself, you're like, oh, you hate yourself, whatever it is. That's where all these mental health issues and all these things come in, because we're not opening ourselves up. You're not able to talk about this and say, hey, man, I feel like an imposter. I feel like a fraud. I feel like this. I just started podcasting. I just seen Tyler the Creator, right? He put a post, all podcasts suck. People just grab their mics and do this. I looked at that. I'm like, huh, man, I really respect Tyler the Creator.
and I'm not gonna lie,
Is that what I'm doing? Is
I
that
agree to
do
I
I
agree
feel
to
like
disagree
that?
with portions of that statement
Well, let
for
me
sure.
finish real quick. I think when I he said that, it really had me thinking, like, okay, man, what am I doing? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? But in a way, it just made me work harder. Like, I'd never let anything anybody else says or any obstacle or anything like that stop me or derail me. I look at it and I'm like, okay, so what I need to do, what I took from that is like, I just want to make sure this is the best show possible. I want to make sure when we're coming on every episode for the 30 day, we're giving you guys something that you guys can stick with, you guys can take from, and you guys can get better from. You know what I mean? So I think that's anything that happens, you just need to take it as fuel, use it as fuel, because at the end of the day, I'm doing what I want to do. I am at where I don't want to be right now. You know what I mean? So I think that's the biggest thing, man. Enjoy your life in that way, in whichever way that looks like.
Oh yeah, I feel that. And like that's how the creative process. I don't know, when I looked at it and I kind of sat back and pondered on it. He's right, but he's not all the way right. I do feel like there's a lot of podcasts out there of imposters. I should say a lot of podcasts out there. People just feeling like they're entitled to their opinion. You know what I'm saying? They're voicing their opinion, but there's really no facts or no evidence to it. They're not able to back it up or make it make sense to the average viewer. They just saying what they saying because they feel like they can say it. I have a voice, I have my opinion, or whatever. But at the same time, I do respect a lot of the podcasts like ours. When you're gonna put in the work, when you're gonna do your research, when you're gonna make sure, you know what I'm saying, you're putting purpose to what you're saying, and we're not just saying stuff to say it. Yeah, I think that's the, and a lot of people feel like that. Like I watch a lot of podcasts where I feel like there's not a lot of great information they're giving you. They just on there. But then I'll also watch a lot of other podcasts. It's like, dang, whether I accidentally stumbled upon this or whether I was looking for this, I was meant to be here to hear that. You know what I'm saying? So
And
there's a
because
lot of good and
yes,
bad news out
it's
there.
very cool too because like I wouldn't even say like I don't even feel right calling anybody else or any podcast an imposter, right? Because I feel like that as well sometimes, but I think the main thing is right, everybody has their own thing, right? Everybody is going to do what they want to do, say what they want to say. If they that's their thing, get on a podcast and it's all about negativity, all about
Some of y'all
all
shouldn't though.
this and
I ain't gonna
that,
lie. I'm gonna have to
or
disagree
whatever
with
it
that.
is.
Some of y'all.
Yeah, and we're going to disagree to disagree. But you can do whatever you want to do in the world because I know and I understand from doing the podcast for this amount of time is that there's people that love that, right? There's people
True.
that love
Yeah,
that
no,
that
there's
negativity. There's people
content out
that
there for
love
everybody.
that talking up whatever it is. And I think the work, the effort, and the time will tell of any podcast because if you're on there and you're speaking that hate and that negative, whatever it is, something the cream is going to always rise to the top. So I think the work is going to show for itself. And one thing too is that you have to fake it till you make it. Like we're saying, all I'm gonna say it again. You have to fake it till you make it. This
And the
is the
title, that
number
gotta be the
one
title of the
motortainment
episode. Yeah,
show in the
bro.
world. This is the number one motortainment show in the world. This is going to be the biggest podcast in the world. This is going to be as big as the Joe Rogan podcast, as big as Call Her Daddy, as big as every podcast that is out there. You know when? Because I'm going to continue to work for that. And I want to be in those categories. I want to be in that. So we have to be delusional. Y'all are looking
Facts.
at
I
us
was
like,
just
what?
gonna say that.
Faison, you
Gotta
just
be
have
delusional.
500 subscribers. Joe Rogan, he's getting 500 million views. You know what I mean? He's
We
getting
gonna make that
billions of
500 feel
views.
like that 500 million. What
You
we
know what I
talking
mean?
about?
He Call Her Daddy. They got the president on there. It's just you and Eman. But I don't care. I'm okay with that because there has to be some type of delusion with this. And I think that is the key because it's a great transition. That is the
I was
key
about to
that pushes
say,
you past that obstacle of imposter syndrome.
you
Imposter
gotta
syndrome
become
can
so
be
delusional
good.
with it that you
Yes.
believe it to be the reality.
Yes. Imposter syndrome only becomes a problem, like I said, like anything, when you allow it to be. So, in order to get past that, be delusional. You know what I mean? Be delusional. Think you are the greatest thing since sliced bread. You know what I
Because
mean?
who's
You
to
have to
say
do
that
that.
your delusion is not somebody's reality or even your reality? Be so delusional that your delusion becomes your reality. Like really wholeheartedly believe it. Get sunk into it. You know what I'm saying? Like don't let nobody tell you that that's not what it is. I've had too many people speak doubt over me. It's one thing for me to speak doubt over myself, but to speak doubt over me ain't doing nothing but fueling my fire because it's like, okay, bet that's what you might feel, but trust and believe that's not how I feel within myself. And even if that is how I feel within myself, now I have a reason to prove somebody wrong. Now I got a reason to go harder. Now I'm gonna make sure that you understand that my delusion will one day be my reality. Whether I might be delusional to think I'm wealthy and rich right now, but I promise you I will be. So because I'm gonna believe that. So
Yeah,
believe
and
that
that's
delusion
huge.
wholeheartedly.
That's huge. I want to show this video too.
Yeah, get to
The
it,
one-
get to
the
it.
the one that we talked about.
Nah, fast. There's a great transition to that.
Let me see. Hopefully it plays. Can y'all see it?
Everyday hustling.
Can y'all see it?
Hold on, mine's loading up.
I need you to be as delusional as possible. When I say delusional, I'm saying you need to be so confident, so optimistic, so unrealistic with everything you are going to be doing in the next 30 days that you have to lie to yourself if that's what it takes. I don't care if it's starting a business. I don't care if it's promoting your brand. I don't care if it's dropping music. I don't care if it's content. I don't care if it's that girl you're trying to move to that you've had your eye on for time. I don't care if it's a guy that you've been trying to impress. Everything you do for the next 30 days, you need to move into it like you are the greatest. You see, the issue with a lot of us is that our mindsets are not radical enough. We're too sensible, we're too humble, we're too chill, we're too let's see how it's gonna go, trying to be reasonable. No, sometimes that holds you back. Start to tell yourself, I am the one that is going to blow. I am the one that is
All
going to
right.
achieve what nobody else has achieved. I am the one that's going to make it out. I am the one that people are going to gravitate towards. I don't care if the economy is dead. I don't care if the market is saturated. I don't care if my friends don't support me. I don't care if I'm getting 100 views right now. I don't care if there's other people in the lane that people prefer. I am going to make it because I am the coldest. Yes, I know some of you are going to struggle to tell your.
Mm,
Talk that talk. Talk that
mm,
talk, man. And then yeah,
yeah.
that's great video, bro. Great
Had to
video
come out
that you.
had come out
I
the
see that boy
ski for
came
that
out this
one.
ski on him. That was
Yeah, I
hot.
see the orange stay there.
He was
But
trying to
look,
fake it till he make it. He don't got that YN in his blood.
yeah, I ain't got that
I don't
in
know
me.
how these young guns be walking around with
I don't
hoodies, skis, and 100-degree weather. Like, boy, what?
I don't have
That's
that
not
in
you,
me.
Phase. That's not you.
I don't have it in. But I think one cool thing too is that the opposite, right? So we talk about imposter syndrome and everything like that, but the opposite, I know we talked about it a little bit earlier. There's something called the Dunning-Kruger effect. If y'all heard of it, let me know. EH, we see you in the comments. We appreciate you. The Dunning-Kruger effect is basically the opposite of imposter syndrome. So if imposter syndrome is having something or doing something, like you're having these accomplishments, you're in these rooms, you're like, dang, how did I get here? Or like, I don't feel good enough. I don't feel like I belong here. Then the Dunning-Kruger effect is the opposite of that. Basically, you don't have those accomplishments, right? And this is where I'm not gonna say I have a problem, but this is where like you're talking about you with those other podcasts and things like that, where it is a little messed up, and this could be kind of what Tyler Creator was alluding to, right?
Mhm.
You don't have the knowledge, you lack the understanding, but you believe you are a master, right? And that handicaps a lot of people. And I pray that this podcast never turns into that. And we put the work in, just like Eman was saying, to make sure we're not coming to you guys with anything that we don't believe, first off,
Right.
or anything that is opposite of like the truth. We want to come to you with facts, and we want to come to you with personal anecdotes and stories. Because I believe when you do that, right, you don't have any knowledge, you're just spitting out stuff or whatever it is. Yeah, in some ways it could be entertaining, right? But that handicaps you from the people actually learning and you putting in the work to get there. It's going to be hard to ever get there if you just want to act like you know it all. It's basically being a know it all. That's what it is.
Not facts. So basically, what you're saying, you know what I'm saying, like just like the video, it's basically pros and cons to it. The same way the video was saying, sometimes we hinder ourselves by being too humble, but we already know sometimes you hurt yourself by being overly confident or thinking you're overly confident and really you're cocky or whatever, and you're so like you said, talking about stuff you don't got no business or no knowledge on, and you're just out here spitting this or whatever because you think you're in this lane, but you're not. You know what I'm saying? So the same way you don't want to be too far to the left on this end of the spectrum, you don't want to be too far to the right. You want to find that even medium, that balance where you have that stability and that stable sense of growth, but also where you realize that there's still room to grow. So, I mean, like you're hitting it spot on, and that's a great transition. I ain't never heard of it, but the way you explained it, that's definitely something that everybody can relate to because it's something that we either seen and or have dealt with in our everyday lives. So,
Mhm. And I seen EH said something about Proverbs 27 too, but
well,
one scripture that was in my mind too, I don't even remember if I know it off the top of the head. I think it's James 2:26 something, but I think you've said it on the pod before, but like faith without work is dead.
faith without works is dead. Walk by faith, not by sight. You know what I'm saying? So those all go hand in hand. You got, you know, oh, what that's a good one. I want to lay on them. I want to lay it on them, but I can't think of what the scripture, the chapter is. But oh, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. So come back to me. I'm
Let
gonna
it
make sure
go.
y'all get that. I'm gonna make sure y'all get that.
Let it go. But
The
faith
Lord's gonna
without
use
works is
me
dead.
just in a moment. Give me a
Come
moment.
on. But faith without works is dead, man. So it's like anything we're doing in life, we're talking about imposter. If you want to, the way to overcome imposter syndrome, everything that we're talking about is just work. It's just action. You know what I mean? So no matter any emotion or anything that you have to put the work in. If we want to be a successful podcast, we need to do 30 days. We need to become
Oh,
better in 30 days. We need to go hard. Go ahead.
I got it. I think it's like faith is the substance of things hoped for, or
And the
faith is the substance of things
consistency of things
unseen.
not yet seen, right?
Come on now.
Yeah, I
Come on
know
now.
that
So
one.
you may not see your
That's
finish line
Hebrews
right now.
11 something.
Yeah, you may not see
11:1.
your finish line right now or whatever, but you're in the journey, you're in the moment, you're in the now. You know what I'm saying? And while you're in this moment, again, I gotta go back to that video one time of what he was speaking. Get delusional in this moment. We on a 30-day journey with y'all. I love how you said for the next 30 days. And we're not even trying to just stop at the end of this 30, but in this moment right now, I wouldn't even call it delusion because I really believe that we finna turn up with y'all. We're finna bring something to y'all that y'all have not seen done from a podcast. You guys are going to be with us on this ride, this journey, this growth, or whatever. But we're delusional. Some would say we're delusional. Think that we gonna be at 1,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers. I'm already at the 20,000s. I feel like we can get there with y'all support, y'all hope, or whatever. And even if at the end of it we're not, I'm glad I was in that delusional state of mind because it made me feel like I was already there and I was pushing like I was already there because I know when I get there, I'm gonna have to work just as hard or 10 times harder than what I'm working now to maintain that level of growth, that platform, and to continue to grow. I don't want us to plateau. I don't want us to be stuck right there. I want us to continue to climb that ladder to the top. Because if we just get somewhere and we get complacent and get comfortable, now we're in that cocky state of mind. Like, oh yeah, we got it. You know what I'm saying? We got to handle. You know what I'm saying? Boom, whatever. No, like but I don't want to be overly humble. Like, man, we gotta. It's gonna take us a long time. I don't know if we're gonna. No, like we're going on the route and the path in which we're supposed to be on right now. And trust and
Mhm.
believe, y'all gonna see this. Y'all gonna get this.
If you don't have the mindset that you're the best ever, you failed already.
Yeah,
That's been my
Jeremiah.
mindset since I can remember. That will be my mindset as long as I can remember anything. That I am the best ever at what I do. And every day that I step on the basketball floor, I will strive to be that.
You talk about delusional. Then he's saying that like he was like better than LeBron or Jordan or something like that, which obviously we know he's not. But to have that state of mind and to really believe that I think that was what made Draymond the greatest him he could be in this present time because he is one of the best. I'm gonna say he's great all the time, but he's definitely one of the best. And I feel like if he did not have that state of mind that he was the best, he would have been a mediocre player, and he never would be as great as he is right now. There's a lot of people that don't like him, but so what? Jesus had haters. You know what I'm saying? You think Draymond not gonna have someone?
And look at this. This is exactly what I was about to say. This is what EA said. Yes, the work you do is the evidence you need for the unseen future. Faith is built upon evidence. I love that because right. I'll say this a million times.
Well, now
You have to put the work in. Draymond can say that because he's putting the work in.
he
We can
is.
say that about this podcast because we're going to put the work in and we are putting the work in. But this is not just work. We're not just working on the podcast. Like if you
Mm-hmm.
guys seen the last episode, this is not just 30 days of, hey, we're gonna come, we're gonna shoot episodes, and we're gonna be here and have a good time. If y'all follow the page, if you follow us, we're grinding. I'm grinding because I'm trying to change my family's life. Like this is like dire for me right now. Like you guys don't know me personally. Like we're gonna keep growing with each other, but the things that I'm going through now, like it's become dire. You know what I mean? The life that I have right now is not going to be the life I have in 6 months. It's not going to be the life I have in a year. And the life I have right now is damn great. You know what I mean? So that's just to show you, based off of what I'm doing right now, I got to go 10 times harder. I got to the UFL, I got to this, I got a nice apartment, I got a nice, I got love around me. You know what I mean? I'm sitting on here talking to you guys. You know what I mean? I could be at a 9 to 5 working I could be out there. There's people
I'm
out
at
there doing
nine.
construction right now, working their butts off. You know what I mean? So you
And we're
have to
not
put the
saying there's
work
nothing
in.
wrong with that either, because trust and believe, those are great careers for some people who feel like that's what they wanted to do because that was better than what they're probably beginning with. They probably came from the gutter, didn't have nothing. So basically, what we're not saying like, oh, if he didn't list something in which you feel like, oh, he's saying he's better than me, because that's not. I don't want y'all to think that's what he's getting at.
No,
What
I'm
he's getting
actually
at is
saying
his
I'm
current situation
worse.
is this. His current situation is this, but this is what he's striving for. This is what he's working for. Your current situation might have been something else, but with the hard work that you put in, you've gotten to where you are now. And if you don't feel like you are where you want to be, keep working, keep grinding, because ultimately you're far off. But there's somebody who wished they were in your position, and then there's somebody who wished they were in their position, and there's somebody, and it keeps going, it keeps going, it keeps going down the line. There's always going to be somebody who wished they were something better than what they are now, the same way you're feeling or whatever. But everybody's gonna have to work hard to get there. So
Everybody's gonna work hard. And yeah, even back to that, like about the construction workers and all that too, it's like they're out there grinding.
facts.
You know what I mean? What I'm
Ain't no
saying
easy
is
work.
they're out there grinding. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I don't know what they want to be doing, but I'm like, I'm in my room in the AC. They're out there in Texas, 98 degrees doing
Right
that. I'm
outside his door.
blessed. I'm blessed to be able to do what I'm doing, but I still want more. You know what I mean? I still want
Hungry,
more.
hungry, trying to
I,
eat.
s- I still want more. So I'm
Yum,
gonna continue
yum.
doing
Eat
that.
him up.
And that's get you. But yeah, I think that's the delusional thing. I love that Draymond video because the delusional thing, like I could talk about that all day because I just want to be so great and I have so many aspirations for this podcast. And I just hope the motivation that I have is pours through to everyone that sees this episode because it's so cool just to be in the position that we are in right now and do this 30 days. I woke up, I don't know if y'all seen the picture. I woke up. I was tired, man. I tried to take a video
He woke up
on
before
I
me.
tried to take I'm always gonna wake up before you, but let's
Right
not go
now.
there.
Right now.
I
I don't
take a
sleep.
video.
I don't sleep. Sleep is for those who are broke. I
That's the
was already
problem.
up.
That's your problem. That's the problem right there. You're hard headed. You're hard headed. That's the problem. You're hard headed.
First
But
of all,
yeah,
I've been grinding so much I can't sleep. I was
mm,
grinding so hard, like ET said, I forgot to eat.
mm.
I really did forget to eat today. I just ate for the podcast. You know that. You know.
That's kind of messed up. You need to eat, man. But I think, man, this is a great episode, man. I think last thing is unless you have something else, but
No,
the
we're right there.
Pursuit of Happiness movie. I don't know if you guys ever seen that, like based off of what we're talking about right now, that everything, Chris Gardner, everything that movie stands for is like just what I'm thinking about. That's we're having this conversation. That movie just continues to play in my head. Is somebody that has not has no business being in this office, right? Has no
Man,
business doing this. Is surrounded
fake
by
it till you
people,
make
people
it.
looking at him like, what are you doing? What do you do? But he's working. You know what I mean? The scene that made me cry, he's in the subway bathroom, whatever it is, somebody trying to get in there, he put his foot on there, and all you do is start crying. I mean, that's the type of, you know what I mean, situation where it's like you have to fake it till you make it. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks, it don't even matter what you
He
think
walked
most of the
into a
time.
room of a Fortune 500 company, somewhere
Mm,
he's never been before, showcased talents that he had, and although it was something that he probably didn't know how to do, he was already convinced in his mind. It doesn't matter what you put in front of me, I'm going to succeed. I'm going to do it because I have to. It's not about the want to. It's about survival. It's about the like this. This is a necessity for me right now. I have a child. This is my
hmm
circumstances, my situation. It don't matter what you put in front of me. I have to change my reality. I'm delusional in the mindset of thinking that it's not nothing that you can't put in front of me that won't stump me. So I love that movie. I love that you referenced that. That was a great motivational message and story. Just and if you haven't seen Pursuit of Happiness, what are you doing? Sit down somewhere and watch that today.
One of Will Smith's greatest films, if I don't,
Definitely, he has a lot of great ones.
and he has a lot of great films. So for me to say
Greatest
that,
hits. Oh man,
come on,
tell
oh, don't do that. He rapping now. Chill out on him.
me now.
75 years. That's how much time you get if you're lucky. 75 years, 75 winters, 75
Come on,
springtimes,
Eddie.
75 summers, and 75 autumns. When you look at it like that, it's not a lot of time, is it? Don't waste them. Get your head out of the rat race and forget about the superficial things that preoccupy your existence and get back to what's important now, right now, this very second. And I'm not saying drop everything and let the world come to a grinding halt. I'm saying that you can become a seeker. You can be loving more. You can be taking some chances. You can be living more. You can be spending more time with your family. You can be getting in touch with the part of you that lives instead of fears, the part of you that loves instead of hates. 75.
Wow.
Talk to him. I ain't never heard Eddie get that. I gotta expand my horizon. That was Eddie was in his bag right there.
Eddie get in his
That's might be
bag.
the first time I heard that, but that was like powerful, like facts. When you think about it, it's not a lot of time. Everybody's always worried about the future, or whatever. Focus on the now. Like tomorrow is not promised, bro. Like get it now. While you're here, while you're breathing, enjoy life now. Don't wait until I gotta. Yes, you gotta grind now, whatever, but find enjoyment in the grind. Find love for the process.
You have to, man. And I think that's the only way to do it, man. If you're doing it any other way, man, you slip in and you're missing out, man. But I say that because that's a lot of the way that I lived. That's a lot of the way that I have, and I appreciate everyone who watches this podcast because this is so much motivation to me to keep going throughout these 30 days. And this episode right here is so important as a catapult to these next episodes that we're gonna have. We're gonna have some
Facts.
amazing guests come on. We have Martez Meatball Carter coming on. He's been on before, so if you haven't seen the other
I never got
episode,
to interview him,
go
so
check
I'm
that out.
geeked. I'm geeked.
If you
Tez, I
haven't
can't
seen the
wait till you get
first
here, baby.
episode, if you haven't seen the first episode, go back and watch that one. It was an
Go get that.
amazing episode, man. He's a
Yeah.
great guy,
And we was
amazing
live with it.
father.
Set up crazy, done by yours truly, Phaz and Eman. Tap into that. Can't
Exactly.
wait to get back to that.
So it's going to be dope, man. So I'm super excited. And I think one thing we can do too, I want to give you guys a sneak peek of the episode that we have coming tomorrow with Martez Meatball Carter. So I'm
That
going to
way I
show
sneak
y'all
peek. It's
that.
my first time seeing it too, y'all. Hold on. Let me
No, it's
see.
not. You've seen it. It's not a sneak
No,
peek.
I
It's
seen
just
the. Oh, okay. I was about to say I seen the
yeah.
episode. I thought you had some behind the scenes.
No. I ain't got that. I
Ain't
ain't got
seen
that.
that yet.
But if y'all ain't seen it, man, y'all need to check this out. This is really cool. Let me show you this right
Man, the
here.
many talents be in his bag. Hard worker. It's the least to say about him.
Nah, he's literally one of the hardest workers I know. Father, check it out right here.
4 returns for a total of like 415. I didn't know I got an invite to the combine until the day of the combine. How the hell does that work? So we ended up watching the rest of the draft, and then all 32 teams called.
Meatball end up here in the IFL. Like, how does that happen?
Injuries are part of the game.
That's a big part of the game.
Injuries are part of the game, man. I failed. And so much people are asking, like, that's really you? Yeah, that's me. That's crazy. What are you doing here? Don't you got a game next week? I got cut. I just buried my pawpaw. We dug the hole ourselves with the amount of money I make today. I can still go to the club and party like Moneybag Yo. I can still go to Essence Festival and get on the stage with Kevin Gates. God, bro.
Yeah.
I got kicked out when I was 15 and I was house to house. We got Mr. Excitement in the building and I was like, crowd pleaser. So he squeezed. Yeah, that's where it came from. Like, I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. That's why I don't think nobody in the world is molded like this right here.
And
man.
that ending was perfect for exactly what we talk about on this episode, bro. That's a man you see firsthand who means what he says and believes exactly that talk he's speaking to you. Can't wait to have him on the episode tomorrow. This will be my first time getting to interview him, so I'm very geeked about it.
It'll be dope, man. But I appreciate you guys coming on, man. I had to ski on. It got a little hot, but we appreciate everybody on this episode.
There's more.
What more you got?
As we always like to do at the end of every episode, Phase.
I stay on Phase the same way I do last week and the day after that.
Because you be scaring me. You be making me feel like we finna just get out of here.
Now we can.
Go ahead and
No, you tell them. You tell them.
All right.
How are you staying unfazed?
Y'all know how I'm staying unfazed. Ultimately, and I like to just be short and sweet with mine, but the way I'm staying unfazed now, here we go. Nah, but the way I'm staying unfazed in this moment today, I'm gonna take a page out of your book. I'm trying to get more back into my spiritual bag, my walk with Christ, my walk with faith. Really getting back to a position where I'm not forgetting who it's all possible through God. All things are possible. So I want to make sure that I devote more time to Him and put in that, at the forefront of everything. So, back in that bag, I really never left, but I want more of Him. More of it. So that's what I'm saying. Come on now.
Hey, I'm staying unfazed, but I stay unfazed. Love y'all, man.
I'm unfazed, yeah. Finna stack this paper.